by me in the previous session. So I hope it is clear. Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the next verse. The next verse is, who in sleep remains awake. He who in sleep remains awake, he shapes one desire after another. That indeed is the radiant Brahman, the black background, that is immortal. In it, all worlds are established. Beyond it, means beyond the black background, none can pass. Yeah, so we'll break this down and understand it. This is the way you see it in Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana and in Samadhi. The direct seeing is very important. What is the direct seeing? The waking world and the waker are not separate. I understood this much. The waker sleeps, the physical body becomes motionless and disappears. The waking world disappears simultaneously. I've understood that. Dream arises, a dream body appears and a dream world appears. The dream body cannot be separated from the dream world. The knower of this dream body and the dream world cannot be separated from them. Whatever happens in the dream, relationships, fears, desires, events, etc., they appear, disappear. Who constructed them? Later the waker may say, I, it's all mine. Waker claims authorship of the dream because the waker is absent from the dream. But truly it doesn't belong to the waker. The waker himself is absent. So how can his desire be present? Desire is not his. He himself is a desire, which he does not see yet. He himself is a samskara or an impression. And that impression disappears at the end of the waking. A new impression is born. And that is the dream. Who is illuminating this dream world? There is no sun there, there is no artificial light there, yet it's very clear. Sight, sound, smell, taste, touch are there without the organs, without the eye, without the nose, without the tongue, without the ear, without the skin. How? They are just samskaras. It is just an impression. The impression has shaped that visual dream or the verbal dream. One who remains awake means he does not get confused that I am the dream body in the dream world. He recognizes himself as the one who is the witness of the dream. He also recognizes I am the same witness that was there in the waking. I am the witness of the waker. In the waking, I am the witness of the dream character in the dream. Means he remains awake. He does not dream. He does not even wake. He is ever awake. Yeah, there are two different things. To wake, one must sleep. He is ever awake. These are two different things. Yeah? So he is ever awake in the waking. He is awake in the dream. And it doesn't end there. He is awake even in the absence of waking and dream, in that darkness termed as deep sleep. He is awake. Means what? He knows that I do not sleep. It is only the waker that disappears. Then after that it is the dream character and the dream world that disappear. Then their absence is known. But does the absence continue? No. Even the absence disappears. There's just the sense of existing that remains. What is the sense of existing made of? Same consciousness, that which is knowing it. That is the ocean, the black backdrop, and that which is the little baby of that black backdrop. That is the witness consciousness. It is itself made of the same consciousness. When this recognition comes, there is the realization, oh, I am ever awake. I am awake in the waking, I am awake in the dream, I am awake in deep sleep. I am ever awake. And I shape one desire after another. So now you start looking for what is that desire, what is the core desire that led to a plethora of all these desires. Name, fame, money, friends, relationship, another house. All these desires have come from one source desire. Can I find that source desire? That's how the earnest spiritual seeker dives deeper, both into samadhi and into swapna nidra jnana sadhana. He starts recognizing that my question and my answer arise automatically in one single projection. My desire and the object to be desired are all one single projection. My fear and the object that is feared, the feared world maybe, they all arise in one single projection. Oh, this is all one indivisible picture. Waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and the one that is knowing them, Turiya. It's one indivisible picture. But where did this impression come from? Then there is the recognition of that sense of existing, standing there alone. That sense of existing starts shaking in fear when it is devoid of an identity. That resistance to standing devoid of any identification reveals to me that the main impression, the source impression, the source desire is the desire to exist and experience. Jijivisha in Sanskrit. Okay, I recognize the desire to exist is there. That is why the sense of I am comes up, even after having collapsed into pure consciousness. For some time, it is not there. And then it comes back up. Why did it come up? Oh, it came up because of what I just recognized. That desire to exist, to have an identity. Yeah, so now this starts opening up in samadhi, in meditation, and in swapna nidra jnana sadhana. That which gave birth to the desire, that which gave birth to the sense of I am, that is awake, ever awake. Yeah? So the sleeping man is not you sleeping on your couch. The sleeping man is depicting Brahman. And even in sleep, Brahman is awake. That is the main depiction in this picture. The verse again, he who in sleep remains awake, shaping one desire after another, that indeed is the radiant Brahman. And that is immortal. This is the most important recognition of Kathopanishad. Why? Because from here, the fear of death starts dwindling, starts crumbling, starts falling away, and finally disappears. It is also a process. Why? Because I am so conditioned to believe I am Ekta, this body-mind person. And this body-mind person was born, so this body-mind person is definitely going to die. When I give up the whole belief of birth and death and recognize myself as that which is beyond, that which sees Ekta born at the beginning of every waking state, and that which sees Ekta die at the end of every waking state, that is unborn. That which sees the dream Ekta born in the beginning of every dream, and that which sees the dream Ekta die at the end of every last dream of the dream state, that is unborn. Oh, that which recognizes the nothingness, the absence of waking Ekta and dream Ekta, and waking world and dream world, that is unborn. Aha. That's how you recognize your immortality. And then the fear vanishes. Now this does not happen in an instant for most of us. Why? Because our conditioning of this I am the body mind person is very strong. In somebody like Ramana Maharshi, instant enlightenment happened with one single inquiry into what is fear. One inquiry was sufficient, and he was enlightened. When he was enlightened, what did he say? The person died. It means the person was just a figment of imagination that was going on through all these reiterations called life. And now at this particular point that I recognize I am beyond the person, this figment of imagination has died. Does that mean that Ekta will not be able to continue in the waking world? No, she continues. But she is only perception of sight or sound or smell or taste or touch. The world is sight, sound, smell, taste or touch. Her thoughts, they are nothing but either a thought or a feeling. What is her body? Nothing but a sensation. All of this has now just become waves that appear and disappear. They are either the Vishwa on one side and Turiya on the other side, or it is seen as Taijasa on one side and Turiya on the other side, or seen as Pragya on one side and Turiya on the other side. This is very important to reach, both in Samadhi and Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana. Then you understand even Turiya is a wave that dissolves and disappears. It dissolves into the background, the white background of nothingness beyond. This is where the entire wave has dissolved. There is nothingness and nobodiness. I am that. Swarupa. This is my true nature. Can I go beyond this? You try in Samadhi, you cannot go beyond this. You try in Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana, there is no going beyond this. And that's why the last part of that verse says, in it all worlds are established, beyond it none can pass. So, again take a moment to contemplate. Have I gotten a glimpse of this, beyond which none can pass? Have I reached there yet? You can do a very simple exercise. Wherever you're sitting, look out the window, and what do you see? If you're in a city, you'll see buildings and people walking around and all. If you are remote somewhere, you'll see mountains and river and water and trees. Whatever you see, what do you see beyond the buildings and beyond the mountain? You see the sky. What is beyond the sky? What is beyond the sky? Do you recognize it is my awareness only? My awareness is the background. This background. on which either the mountain, the river, the trees are there, or the buildings are there, and the people are there. Yeah? Recognize that. Again and again, take your attention to that. It is the backdrop of the world. Don't attempt to get there intellectually. Yeah? Just see the true backdrop of the world. Where is the world thought appearing? You will see it on this backdrop. What illumines it? The backdrop illumines it, you will see. Can you separate the world thought from this backdrop? You will see you will not be able to move that world thought outside this backdrop of awareness. Be with this today. Today's job is to only be with this backdrop. That is the light. I am that light. I am not this person, measly person that is born and dies in the world. I am that. From there is the knowing of this person in the waking, and there is the knowing of the absence of this person in the deep sleep. I am there. And stand as that light. Remain as the light in which everything appears, in which everything disappears. Now, once you do this with open eyes, sit in samadhi. After the session, if you can sit in a samadhi for a little while, it will be helpful. You sit in samadhi with that awareness. You will see you'll be able to stay at that awareness magically. Whatever appears in the center. Desire forms, and that desire becomes a thought, it becomes some visual form or a verbal form. That radiant substratum on which it appears, that is constant, intact. It does not appear or disappear with these forms. It was equally present before you sat in samadhi. It will be equally present after you get out of your samadhi. Open-eyed, closed-eyed, closed-eyed, open-eyed. Just be at this backdrop, the substratum. And when you go deeper into it, you'll be able to see the one that is knowing the substratum is the substratum itself. The world appears on this substratum, on this background. It disappears into that background. This never appears, this never disappears. Okay? And slowly samadhi will mature. It takes some time because I am not a Shravaka like Ramana Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi, one self-inquiry, and there, the person died. Oh, I am too attached to this person. So I have a lot more conditioning that I need to drop. So, okay, this is going to take some time. Samadhi will mature bit by bit. I will give it that much patience. So if you've not started weekly samadhi, all the participants, the seniors, meet on Wednesdays, I think Tuesdays also, and Saturdays and Sundays. Whichever day of the week works for you, sit in samadhi. Attempt to get to that background, that which will rid you of all your fears, that which will help you overcome every single fear. Yeah, because all fears are only one fear truly, the fear of death. The fear of death is not only of this body, because this body, the waker's body, is attached to the waking world. So if there is fear of death of somebody in the waking world, it is the fear of death of this body. They go together. The waking world cannot appear or disappear without the waker. The waker and waking world are one. And then you start seeing, oh, all the fears in the waking world are reduced down to the fear of death of the waker. And when I get over this idea that I am the waker, I recognize I am the unborn, then it doesn't matter what happens to the waker and waking world. I know I am. I always am. I am without the ego I. That's it. Only the ego will shed. Only the person will die. This is the meaning of the self is awake. It is ever awake, even in deep sleep. So waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. These three come and go in the self, in this backdrop. But the self never comes and goes. Okay. Those who are doing Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana, dive deeper into it. Those who have not started Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana, there are already 2 books available on Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana. Order them, start using each command, 1 command per cycle of sleep. When the waker sits on the bed, notice sleep is approaching, this groggy feeling is there. Waker lies down, all these desires just transform into images. Logical thought becomes illogical, no sequence. Proper memory becomes an imagined broken photograph of some place. In fact, there are broken pieces of different photographs joined together in the dream. A familiar person lands up in an impossible setting in the dream. And this is how sanskaras are shaping one's desire, one after another. And there is no personal author there. Nobody can claim that this waking is transforming into the dream and I am doing it. Not even the waker can claim it. Attempt to see this. There is no controller. See that the dream world assembles itself and disassembles itself. No controller there. No claimant. Everything arises and disappears upon what? Upon a background. The moment the last dream collapses, just the sense of existing is there on this background. It doesn't have a border. It is not finite. I recognize this. Ask yourself or inquire deeper into this. Where is the waker when the sense of existing is standing alone? Where is the dreamer when the sense of existing is standing alone? Where is the waking world? Where is the dream world? Apply that immediately to this recognition that doesn't the waker and dreamer appear on this play like a movie and disappear? Could it be possible that Ekta is nothing but a character on a film and the film is just rolling past, passing images? Yeah. Isn't the waker simply a passing show? Isn't the waking world simply a passing show? That's how you dive deeper into Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana. Dive deeper and come to the point that everything comes and goes, but the white background beyond, that which I truly am, neither arrives, neither departs. That is where you can claim that my Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana is now complete. You cannot claim before that. Yeah? There has to be a proper understanding of this. He who remains awake even in sleep, he is the one that is dispersing or shaping all these desires. into him all the desires disappear. All these worlds appeared in him, disappeared in him. But he never disappears. And is there a way to go beyond the pure consciousness, the black background, the Brahman? No. None can pass that, because there is nothing there to pass. Clear? This is how I see this particular verse in my Samadhi and in my Swapna Nidra Jnana Sadhana. And I gave you a beginner meditation also, looking out the window and recognizing that background of awareness in open-eyed. Clear? I hope this verse is clear. I will stop here for today. The knowledge was quite heavy in these two verses. If there are any questions, you can please send your questions to the host, and after a short 2-minute break, we will have a question-answer session. If you want to ask the question yourself, you're welcome to ask directly.